Why an exhibit for Johnny Eck?
Because I wanted to share this remarkable man's life with other people. I began collecting Johnny Eck stuff in, I think it was 1995. It's been about 18 years since I started my collection. The more information I acquire or learn about, the more obsessed I've become. I've wanted to, for many years, get it out there in the public eye. Johnny Eck is a Baltimore native. He was born in the house at 622 North Milton Avenue, just above Patterson Park here in Baltimore. It was 1911. He had a twin brother who was born completely normal. His mother did not know that she was carrying twins. About 20 minutes later, Johnny popped out. He was about 8 inches long when he was born. It was a horrifying experience for some of the midwives. At the time, there's stories of midwives fainting when they saw this thing. One woman said, "Oh my God, he's a broken doll." And that's what he looked like. He had nothing from the ribs down. He spent his entire life living in Baltimore in the same house that he was born in.
Really?
That was the only home they ever knew. Baltimore was their home. He and his brother were inseparable their entire life, neither married. They started their sideshow career when Johnny was very young, and that was their only livelihood.
The director of the movie Dracula, Todd Browning, shocked Hollywood in 1932 with his movie Freaks. The movie is about a beautiful trapeze artist who kind of screws over some of the performers, and stuff happens. I don't want to ruin it. But the movie, in fact, actually hires real sideshow performers, including this dude who has no arms and legs, and he can roll a cigar with his mouth, and it's my favorite part of the movie, actually. Spoiler alert, it happens. Before the movie, the guy actually directed 57 movies, but the movie was so shocking it was banned from a whole bunch of countries, including a lot of the United States. And so after the movie, he only directed for 7 more years and only directed 4 more movies, which is sad.
Most people only know of Johnny from the movie Freaks. Freaks was a passion project of his. It shocked people when it came out. He didn't think of himself as a freak. He didn't think of himself as a person who had handicaps. In fact, he was just the opposite. He was a person who believed that he could do anything he set his mind to. This little half man had more drive than most people with both their legs in full health. I mean, the guy was unstoppable. Yet Johnny was an actor. We know him from Freaks. The first Tarzan movie with Johnny Weissmuller, he played a bird creature. They ended up using that in the first 3 Tarzans. But he was a sideshow performer. He was a painter, he was a race car driver, he was a photographer, he was a magician, he was all these different things. And the way he led his life, he was a showman, and he was creative in everything he did. And that was one of the challenges in putting this show together. I wanted to show all the aspects of Johnny's life, and to hold it at the Maryland Institute College of Art I thought it was very fitting. His twin went to school here. They were very much into the arts.
Nobody would say that Johnny had an easy life, but looking at some of the attractions in the exhibit, you had pictures that he had staged of car accidents. Yeah. And it seemed like he was able to embrace this, have a humor about it.
He accepted himself for who he was. Certainly there were a lot of physical things that he couldn't do. There were a lot of physical things that he could do better than a lot of people. He could run faster than most people on legs. He was a good swimmer. He could walk a tightrope. Johnny had a sense of humor about the way he was, and he loved cars. Whenever they saw a cool car on the side of the road or a wrecked car, they would go in for a photo op, and Johnny would do his handstand. I call him hood ornament thing, because he would just stand up like that. He would just lay down underneath a car tire and start flailing and screaming, "Help, help, help, I've been hit," and horrify people. I think about sideshow performers and us as normals going to sideshows. There's that whole mindset of, they're being exploited. Well, they're not. I think it's the reverse. I think they're taking advantage of the people that are in the tent. They have the upper hand. You're the sucker paying the money to see them. I, 18 years later, am still overwhelmed at Johnny's accomplishments.
Okay, so the house that he lived in his whole life, is that still around?
It is still around. I bought it I settled on Halloween Day 2000. I think of that house and its importance to Baltimore like I think of the Poe House, the Gertrude Stein House, the Mencken House. So I went through this whole process to get it declared a National Historic Landmark. Yeah, they called me a curator for this show, and I was wondering what is a curator? Am I a curator? Maybe I've been curating this show for 18 years.
And well, thank you for doing it.
Thank you.